Dear friends and dear viewers, we are starting a podcast on Valmiki Ramayana. This is AI generated. Please give your comments and support the channel. It is a very detailed podcast explaining everything. So we'll try to upload weekly one or two audios. Thank you very much. Please give your comments and support us. Don't forget to subscribe.
So let us begin. We are here today to undertake not an analysis, but a retelling, a deep dive into the sacred chronicle of the life of Sri Rama.
Yes, and our purpose is purely devotional. We're here to listen with our hearts to find some solace and wisdom in the story of the Lord.
The words we share today come from a summary given by the great Maharishi Valmiki himself. It's a narrative he originally addressed to the divine sage Narada, who sees all things.
So we are receiving this knowledge from the most perfect source. I am ready to listen.
It begins, as all great spiritual journeys do, with a question, a profound inquiry from Maharishi Valmiki to the omniscient Saint Narada.
He wasn't just asking for a story.
No, he was searching for an ideal, for a standard of perfection. He asked Narada if, in this world right now, there existed a single man who embodied a whole collection of almost divine virtues.
An impossible standard, it sounds like.
It truly does. He had to be virtuous, of course, and heroic, but also completely and utterly true to his word.
And that's just the beginning.
Just the beginning. He had to be firm in his vows, which speaks to his resolve, and yet also grateful, bountiful, holy, just, and wise.
Every one of those words carries such weight. A grateful heart in a powerful man. That is so rare.
It is, and beyond that, his spiritual purity had to be absolute. He needed to be completely devoid of envy, tranquil in his soul. And this, I think, is the most difficult of all. He must be someone who, in his tranquility, never, ever yields to rage.
To never yield to rage, when you think of what Lord Rama endured, that quality alone feels superhuman.
It is, and yet this paragon of self-control also had to be the mightiest warrior imaginable.
The two sides of the divine coin.
Yes. Maharishi Valmiki asks, who's the hero whose wrath, when it's finally roused, even the gods embattled fear and fly?
So he needs to have the power to shake the heavens, but the restraint to remain perfectly calm.
Exactly. He needed the noble might and gentle skill to guard the entire triple world from ill.
And by the triple world, you mean all of existence, really.
Yeah.
The earthly, the atmospheric, and the heavenly realms.
All of it. He had to be the protector of all three. And in his worldly role, he had to be the best of princes, someone who loves his people's good above all else.
A living mine of brightest joys and virtues, the text says.
And Queen Fortune's dearest friend. Prosperity follows him not by chance, but because he is its source.
How could such a one even exist? It feels as though he is asking for a god to walk the earth in human form.
That is precisely what he was asking. And the relief in Narada's reply is immediate. He responds with such gentle certainty.
He knew the answer. Of course he did.
He said, such graces are indeed found. They are rare, but they dwell in one man, born of old Ikshvaku's line. And his name is Sri Rama.
The Lord's name is revealed.
Yes. And Narada's description of Sri Rama is, well, it's meticulous. He explains that fortune had truly set her mark upon him.
In his character and also in his physical form.
Yes, very much so. He is described as tall, with broad shoulders, strong of limb.
And bearing the auspicious marks that speak of a great destiny.
Exactly. His throat is graced with a conch shell's triple line, a sign of spiritual purity and divine speech. His massive jaw and ample chest also mark his high destiny.
The seat of his strength and his resolve.
And his body is that of the perfect warrior. His collarbone is so deeply embedded it is scarcely seen, a sign of incredible, almost hidden power.
And, of course, the most famous sign, his strong arms, which reach below his knee.
The Ajanabahu, the mark of a universal sovereign, destined to protect the entire world. All the fairest graces deck his head, his brow, his neck.
The description is so complete you can almost see him.
You can. His skin is soft and lustrous dark, and his large eyes, they sweetly shine with a majesty almost divine.
It is a beauty that reflects his inner reality.
It does. And that inner reality, his conduct, was just as perfect. His plighted word he never forgets. He was trained by his teachers to subdue his will, even though he was already wise by nature.
So he embraced discipline. It wasn't just an innate gift.
No, it was perfected through practice. He was well versed in the Vedas and all the kindred lore, skilled in arts and law, the joy of Queen Kaushalya's heart.
A protector of all mankind.
Yes. And the text then compares him not to other men, but to the forces of nature and the gods themselves.
To give us a sense of the true scale of his being.
He is as firm as Himalaya, immovable in his principles, as unfathomed as the mighty deep.
A peer of Vishnu's power and might.
The text confirms it right there. He is lovely as the Lord of Night, the moon, but as patient as the earth itself.
But that patience is balanced, isn't it?
It is. When he is roused to ire, he is as fierce as the world-destroying fire, and in his generosity he is like the Lord of Gold. He is, in essence, justice itself in human mold.
So the answer to Maharishi Valmiki's question is a resounding yes. The perfect man does exist. He is Sri Rama.
And just as this ideal is established, it is immediately put to the most severe test imaginable. King Dasharatha, seeing these virtues in his eldest son, decided to make Sri Rama the regent heir.
The natural course of things. The most worthy should rule.
It should have been. But as the preparations for the consecration began, the youngest queen, Kaikeyi, saw them with eyes full of envious hate.
Ah, so this is where the trial begins. The venom of envy.
Yes. She went to the king and forced him to honor two boons, two gifts he had promised her long ago.
A promise that a king cannot break. A dharma bandhan.
A terrible binding of duty. And her terms were, they were brutal. The first was that Sri Rama must flee to the woods, banished for 14 years.
14 years, and the second.
That her own son, Farad, should be crowned the heir instead.
The king must have been shattered.
Completely. Bound by his own word, the wretched king had no choice but to comply.
And what did Sri Rama do?
He proved his perfection. There was no argument, no hesitation. To please Kaikeyi, and more importantly, to honor his father's decree, he went forth obediently to banishment.
He placed dharma above the kingdom, above everything.
He did, and in that moment, his companions showed their own devotion. Lakshmana, his brother, full of truth and love, refused to stay behind. He dared all perils to share his brother's exile.
Such loyalty.
And, of course, Mother Sita, his darling wife, described as a miracle of loveliness from Janak's royal line. She clung to her dear lord, loved by him, even as he loved his life.
Like Rahisi and the moon.
Exactly, an inseparable pair. The people of the kingdom were overcome with grief. The king and the citizens pursued the hero's chariot for as long as they could.
They couldn't bear to see him go.
But the exile began. They came to Sringavara, where the holy Ganga flows. There, Sri Rama met Guha, the king of the Nishadas, who became a devoted friend and sent them across the river.
And from there, they went deeper into the wilderness.
Yes, onward they strayed until they reached Chitrakuda's beautiful hill. And there, with Lakshmana's help, Sri Rama built a pleasant little cottage.
And so the three of them, dressed in bark and deerskin, began their new life.
They did, and the text says that Chitrakuta, because of their presence, began to shine as brightly as Meru's sacred peaks, where the gods themselves recline.
So where they went, heaven followed.
But back in the capital, the light had gone out. The aged king, Dasharatha, pining for Sri Rama, could not bear the separation. He soon resigned the earth for the skies.
He died of a broken heart.
He did. And now, by the terms of the boon, the throne belonged to Farad. But Farad, sharing his brother's devotion to Dharma, utterly refused to reign.
He wouldn't take a throne that was won through such injustice.
Never. He was urged by all twice born, all the Brahmins and court elders, but he refused. He immediately set out to find his brother.
To beg him to return.
Yes. He found Sri Rama, fell at his feet, and pleaded with him to come back and be their lord and king.
A beautiful act of devotion, but Sri Rama was bound by his vow.
He remained firm. His father's decree had to be observed for the full 14 years. So, he offered a solution. He placed his own sandals in Farada's hand.
A pledge, a symbol of his authority.
A pledge that he would still rule the land through those sandals. Farad accepted them, but he would not rule from the throne in Ayodhya.
Why not?
The city was tainted by his mother's deed. Instead, he went to the village of Nandagrama, placed the sandals on the throne there, and ruled the realm as a regent, eagerly waiting for his lord's return.
What an incredible family.
Meanwhile, Sri Rama knew he had to move deeper into the forest. The visitors from the kingdom were becoming too frequent for his ascetic life, so he journeyed onward into the great Dankaka wood.
And this is where his mission changes.
Yes. from passive exile to active protection. He first slays the giant fiend Narada. This act brings him to the great sage, Agastya.
And Agastya sees his divine purpose.
He does. He counsels Sri Rama to accept a divine arsenal, the sword and bow of Indra, the king of the gods, and a pair of quivers with an endless supply of arrows.
He was being armed for a greater war.
A war that was already waiting for him. The hermits in the forest, who were being terrorized by fiends, came to him trembling. They sought his aid. They begged him to come like Indra and protect them.
And of course he would.
He made a solemn vow to them, to protect the saints and destroy the evil that plagued the forest. This vow would lead him directly into conflict with the greatest of all demons.
Raha.
Yes. The first encounter was with Ravan's sister, the hideous giantess Surapakaha. She saw Sri Rama and was consumed with a lawless flame.
And her advances were rejected.
Swiftly and decisively. Raghava's falchion, wielded by Lakshmana, left its deep cut upon her face. She was mutilated and fled in a rage.
And this act brought the full force of the demons upon them.
It did. Hearing her cries, the entire giant crew, including the monster of the triple head and Dushan, came for vengeance, along with thousands of other fiends.
And Sri Rama faced them all.
He did. And they all died beneath his might. He single-handedly destroyed Ravan's entire military outpost in the Dunfaka forest.
When word of this reached Ravan, he must have been furious.
Ravan, whose name of fear shook earth, hell, and heaven, was consumed by rage. He learned of the slaughter and immediately began his vengeful plot. He commanded the fiend Maricha to help him.
But Maricha knew better, didn't he?
He did. He had faced Sri Rama before and survived. He wisely tried to warn Ravan, telling him that not even he could hope to cope with Sri Rama's strength.
But Ravan was blinded by his own fate.
Blinded by fate and rage, he ignored the counsel and went to Sri Rama's hermitage. By Maricha's magic art, he took the form of a golden deer and lured the two princes, Rama and Lakshmana, away from the cottage.
Leaving Mother Sita all alone.
Alone and vulnerable. Ravan then slew the great vulture Jayu, who gave his life trying to stop him, and he bore away Mother Sita as his prey.
Oh, how could they bear such separation? How could the Lord endure that loss?
His grief was absolute.
Yeah.
Raghava returned to the cottage, saw the noble Jayu slain, and rushed inside. He sought his wife and found her not.
The emptiness must have been devastating.
The hero's senses failed. The text says he wept and wailed in mad despair. It's a moment of profound human anguish. He performed the funeral rites for the great bird, and then, his heart filled with sorrow, he continued his search.
Where did the search lead him next?
It led him south. And even in his grief, he continued his duty as protector. He encountered and slew another hideous giant, Kabanda.
And something happened when Kabanda was slain.
Yes. When his monstrous body was put on the funeral pyre, a beautiful, saintly figure emerged from the flames, released from a curse. And this being gave Sri Rama crucial guidance.
What did he say?
He told Sri Rama to seek out a holy hermitess named Sabari. Following her counsel, Sri Rama came to the shores of Pampa's pleasant lake, and it was there that he met the one who would become his greatest devotee.
Lord Hanuman.
Lord Hanuman, the wind god's son. He won his steadfast friendship. And counseled by Lord Hanuman, Sri Rama told his tale of grief to the Vanar chief Sugriva.
And Sugriva understood his pain.
He did. He swore an alliance with Sri Rama before the sacred flame. Sugriva then told his own story of how his brother Bali had wronged him, stolen his wife, and banished him from his own kingdom.
So Sri Rama promised to help him.
He promised to slay Bali and restore Sugriva to his throne. But Sugriva, he knew Bali's strength. It was immense, almost terrifying.
He needed proof of Sri Rama's power.
He did. To show just how strong Bali was, Sugriva pointed to the corpse of a huge fiend Bali had slain. A body the size of a mountain.
And what did Sri Rama do?
He just smiled. He lightly kicked the massive corpse where it lay and cast it 20 leagues away.
20 leagues, with a single kick.
Effortlessly. But to give Sugriva absolute faith, he gave even more proof. He fired an arrow that flew clean through 7 massive palm trees standing in a single line.
An impossible feat.
He then cleft a mighty hill apart with another arrow, and finally hurled his dart down to the netherworld, to hell itself.
There could be no more doubt.
None at all. Assured of victory, Sugriva went with his new champion to Kishkinda and challenged his brother. Bali came out, furious, and one single shaft from Sri Rama's deadly bow laid the mighty monarch low.
And so Sugriva became king.
Sri Rama bade him reign in Bali's stead, and now he had a powerful ally and a vast army to help him find Mother Sita.
The search could truly begin.
The grateful King Sugriva wasted no time. Envoys were hurried forth in all directions, east, west, south, and north, all commanded to find Sri Rama's spouse.
And their search eventually led them to the southern shore.
Yes, guided by the counsel of the great eagle Sampati, the Banners' new mother Sita was across the great ocean in Lanka. But the ocean was 200 leagues wide.
An impossible distance to cross for anyone but him.
For anyone but the brave Lord Hanuman. Mocking at dread, he prepared for the journey. He grew to the size of a mountain, and with one wild, tremendous leap, he sprang across the deep.
200 leagues. In a single bound.
Across the ocean to Lanka's town, where Ravan held his court. There, after a long search, he found poor Mother Sita, pensive and sad, beneath the Ashoka trees.
That meeting must have been a moment of such hope for her.
It was. He gave the hapless girl the ring, a token from her lord, and she, in turn, gave him a jewel from her hair, a pledge to take back to Sri Rama.
His mission was successful, but he didn't just leave.
No. He then decided to announce his presence. He battered down the garden door, and when Ravan's forces came, he fought them. He slew 5 captains, 7 sons of counselors, and crushed the youthful prince Aksha on the field.
A great act of defiance.
But it was also strategic. He then allowed himself to be captured. Though he was free to fight his way out, he yielded. He calmly bore their insults to honor a decree from Brahma.
So by being captured, he could get before Ravan himself.
Exactly. He was taken to the court, delivered his warning to the demon king, and then when they set his tail on fire, he used that fire to burn their city. He burnt most of Lanka with hostile flame.
What an incredible display.
He spoke one last time with Sri Rama's dame, reassuring her, and then flew swiftly back across the ocean, bringing Raghava the vital news.
She had been found.
With her location confirmed, Sri Rama, guided by Sugriva, marched the entire Banner army to the ocean side. But now they all faced that impossible barrier.
The sea itself.
Sri Rama first requested passage from the Ocean King. When no answer came, he began to smite the sea with his arrows, bright as sunbeams, preparing to dry it up completely.
His divine wrath was awakened.
And the river's king quickly appeared, obedient to the summoning, begging for mercy. He advised them how to cross.
The bridge?
Yes. A bridge was thrown by Nala, the divine architect, over the narrow sea. The entire army crossed over to Lanka's golden town.
And the final battle began.
The final great battle. And in the end, Sri Rama's own hand smote Ravan down. Vibhishan, Ravan's righteous brother who had joined Sri Rama, was then made king, restoring Dharma to Lanka.
And Mother Sita was finally free.
She came to meet her husband. But there was one final terrible trial. In front of the entire assembly, Sri Rama, concerned with the honor of his lineage after her long captivity, addressed his wife with bitter words.
He questioned her after all this.
He did.
Yeah.
Mother Sita, touched with a noble ire, knowing her own purity, made a decision. She would prove her innocence in a way no one could ever doubt. She gave her fair body to the fire.
The Agni Pariksha. The trial by fire.
Yes, and straightway the god of fire himself appeared, carrying her, unharmed. Words from heaven declared her honor, pure and untouched. The fire could not harm her purity.
And Sri Rama.
He clasped his wife again, uninjured, pure from spot and stain, obedient to the divine will. The gods and heavenly saints all drew near to honor him for his glorious deeds.
The victory was complete.
And made even more so by a final act of grace. By the power of heaven, Sri Rama raised to life all the Banner chieftains who had been slain in the battle.
He restored all who had fought for him.
Yes. The years of exile were finally over. Sri Rama traveled in the magic chariot back to Nandigrama. He met his faithful brothers and loosed the votive coil of hair, ending his vow.
He returned to Ayodhya.
He returned to fair Ayodhya's town, and at last he reigned over his father's kingdom. And what followed was not just good governance, it was the return of the Golden Age.
Sati Yuga.
Truly, no disease or famine oppressed the people. They were blessed with wealth, sweet content, and perfect health.
The world was in balance.
Perfectly. No widow mourned her mate. No father mourned the untimely death of a son. They feared neither storm, nor robber, nor fire, nor flood.
It was heaven on earth.
It was. And this glorious king, beloved by men, reigned for 10,000 years and hundreds 10.
11,000 years. An age of perfection.
A symbol of an eternal perfect reign. And when his life on earth was past, He went at last to Brahma's world, the ultimate liberation.
And that completes the heroic chronicle, as told by Maharishi Valmiki.
It does. And the text itself promises that whoever reads or hears this noble poem, which is as good as the scriptures, shall be freed from every sin.
And not just the reader, but their whole family. With all his kin, the heavens shall gain.
The blessings are for everyone. Brahmins who read it will gain eloquence. Warriors will learn to reign over the land.
Merchants will find luck in trade, and Sudras who listen will reap advantage from the tale.
When you think on this whole story, the search for the ideal, the terrible trials, the unwavering commitment, and that final perfect reign, it leaves you with so much to consider.
It truly does. The main lesson seems to be that perfection is not about avoiding suffering. It is about maintaining Dharma through suffering.
That's a beautiful way to put it. So maybe the final thought to leave with everyone is this. If the very embodiment of justice, Sri Rama, had to sacrifice his kingdom and endure such pain simply to honor his father's word, what does that tell us about the sacred, unbreakable power of our own promises on our own path to virtue?
A profound question. Following Raghava's path, it seems, is the way to Brahma's world.